Oh, yeah. So my vote is for Shawn being the culprit to be the one to the thing all the way up. And I mean all the way up there, like he's about to mess it all the way up. And Nick, I thought you said that your couple was going to be the only couple to make it. Meanwhile, y'all are completely at the bottom of the barrel.
Like it's delirium, ay, ay, like it's delirium, ay, I got delirium, ay, like it's delirium, yeah, yeah, like it's delirium. She just wanna bounce to it, baby, get your giddy on. Walk up to the stage with a drink like I'm Giveon, but I never came here to sing what I'm really on.
What is going on, y'all? It's your girl Taida B here, and welcome to my chat party. If you're here to join me a little bit, a lot of bit, fashionably early, fashionably late, to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions on Married at First Sight, season 20, episode number 4, then I appreciate y'all so much from the bottom of my heart. Get comfortable, join in on the party, hit the dance floor with your comments, hit that like button, peek in, you know what I'm saying? And if it ain't for you, maybe come back another day. But I really wish and hope that you would stay. But while we're talking about joining the party, I wish I would get into this video without mentioning the fact of how y'all showed your behinds out to show up for me with subscribing and becoming a VIP to the chat party. What? Like showing up for me? Or either showing up for you or showing up for we, us together. I don't know what it was. But the way y'all, I looked and I was like, wait, I went from last I knew 372 subscribers, which I was so grateful for, to now I've hit over the 500 mark. And I think that was like in a matter of a few days. Like, what are we talking about here? The views y'all have, listen, okay, y'all have showed out, like just showed up and showed out. I cannot express my gratitude enough. Super, super love to each and every 507 of you. And it might have been 509. I might have that off, but you guys are it. And for whoever is going to join, in the future, I appreciate you in advance. I really hope you guys enjoyed here. I am like the way y'all, I don't even have the words to express how I felt when I saw that. I was like, wait, hold on, is this for real? Like, hold on, let me take my glasses off, and then let me put them back on and make sure that I'm seeing what I'm seeing. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. I'm so excited about it, but I know we got stuff to get into. I know we have things to talk about, and I have a whole lot to say, but I just want y'all to know you are so appreciated from the bottom of my heart. That's that real deal Holyfield. Truly mean that. And for your comments. Oh my gosh, I loved interacting with you guys. So sweet, so cool, so substantive with some of your thoughts, giving me new perspective on things. The anniversary shout outs too, just everything. Y'all are it. Y'all are it. I dare somebody else to tell me somebody else says otherwise, and you send them to me. Okay. All right, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So the couples are waking up the next day, and it seems to me they're all feeling pretty good, so they're just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. I said, oh, okay, even with Nikki, she just needed a little sleep. She was tired. She had a lot going on that day. She needed to regroup, recharge, get a little nightcap or some shut eye, and wake up feeling better, right? And not that she was acting so horrible, but again, it's just that wedding reception and ceremony was just playing in my mind. And so, like I said it in my last review, and it still stands in this one, all roads right now are definitely leading to Shawn being the one who's going to pick up the thing. Okay, let me say that again, just in case you hear me say it a couple of times a few minutes ago. In the meantime, he's paying her compliments, and she's telling us how he grabbed her hand in the middle of the night while they were sleeping, and she thought it was intimate and sweet. And she's not attracted to him physically. Okay, what she's definitely making clear yet again for the second time out of her mouth, maybe about the hundredth with her actions. But however, she thinks it can grow into a love story. And I was like, oh, okay. Again, see, she's trying. She is trying. And even if she's putting on for the camera, she is doing a good job to me. All right. But I don't even want to think that way. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt and say she's really going to try in this process until she gives me a reason to think otherwise. Let's just go ahead and fast forward to the honeymoon, because really the talk in between wasn't really a whole lot going on. The couples arrive in Riviera Maya, Mexico, or Mexico. And in the same way Nikki was keeping her mental notes on Shawn, on that wedding day and not in a good way. I feel Courtney is doing the same thing with Nick at this point. Um, she's smiling through it, but I can already see the beginning stages of her doing some mental gymnastics and questioning some things, because it's like, I know there was some gadget that she was fidgeting around with, and he didn't even know what to do to help get it started. And she's like, oh, okay, I see. I'm gonna have to be the one to figure things out. Now, even with that, I was like, okay, easy, champ. Hold on, girl. Give him a little chance. I mean, he ain't got to know how to do everything. Just because he don't know how to get this thing powered on doesn't mean he's not gonna know how to use his hands in other ways. But then also when they got to Mexico, and he was trying to make them a little drink and had the little shaker and wasn't securing it enough, and then the alcohol went flying everywhere. She was looking like, my God, on today. Like, what are we about to be doing with this? So I just felt already in there, her patience was wearing thin, and we'll see a little bit more as the episode goes on. But we didn't even make it to the first commercial break, y'all, before Felipe decided he wanted to start dropping bombs. I mean, I'm like, it's good to get things out of the way, but like early as in we just got here early, like early as in it's the first day early, like of our honeymoon, early as in it's not even dark yet. And we want to start talking about all the things. Like we couldn't wait another day or two or something. But I'm like, whatever. So the two topics first was going to be religion. He lets, or is questioning her as to her religious beliefs. She says that she's a Christian. Shout out to my Christians out there. Shout out to you and whatever it is that you do believe in. But he says that he's an atheist, right? And for those of you who may not be aware, that's someone who has no belief in a God. And I will say, I think that's a tough kind of position to be in, not to really have faith in any way or anything, especially in this crazy world that we live in. But yeah, that was a lot. But the whole point of it all is that that is a major topic and a major issue, or it can be for a lot of people, right? Because then that presents a situation where you're unequally yoked. And when you're unequally yoked, you can run into a lot of issues, okay, whether it be how you do things or how you approach certain situations in life, in your marriage, or even when you have children. How are you going to raise your children, or what side of the coin? And I know most people say, oh, when they get older they can decide what they want to do, but what about when they're younger? Like, they got to wait before they get older. What do they do in the meantime, in between time, with that? So I hope that they find some type of common ground, because he did say that he, um for lack of better words, was willing to allow her the space to believe in. I'm hoping maybe somewhere in there she can influence him and encourage him to hop on the bandwagon, for sure. I think that'd be great for them. But she didn't seem too pressed after the conversation wrapped. You could tell it bothered her a little bit, but either way, or he then hops into his second issue, which is that he cheated. So he just wanted to get that out. We know that's not a thing that she's into. I mean, I don't think anybody really is into that, but I believe she was the one who made it known that she's, well, yes, well, we know she's been cheated on, but I feel like I'm trying to remember from her individual sessions with the doctors whether she had made that clear. I'm pretty certain that she did. So you can tell she's whatever, but she's still willing to give it a shot nonetheless. And well, we hop on to Marissa and Adam's little scene at the beach. And I said, if we didn't know, now we know what they did last night, and it sure wasn't cuddle. Okay, that's the point of it all in their conversation for me. Even at a certain point after that, we see a little clip where she's kind of like straddling him as he's standing up. I was like, okay, and we know what y'all about to do tonight. Y'all might be doing that again in a few minutes. I mean, all right, but handle your business, do what you got to do, right? So Cam and Michelle are talking in their room, and she shares her issues that she's had with fibroids and her fertility struggle. And I think that was a lot for right now. Me and my personal opinion, I feel like that still kind of could have waited. But again, maybe people just feel better and more light in spirit if they just put everything out from the beginning. Luckily, Cam is pretty understanding and empathetic. Even when she shares the possibility of adopting, he says that his sister's adopted and she's amazing. So I like that moment for them, since they had to go there. And if they do stay together, um, then I hope they'll have their heart's desire in however they decide to grow their family. So now Belle, Jolie, and Mecca are by the pool having a drink. And I'm sorry, y'all, sidebar. But I really want him to remove that black polish from his fingernails. And I know I shouldn't be focusing on that, y'all, but it's so distracting. I'm like, Mecca, please let me handle the black of it all, okay? I got this on lock for us. You ain't got to do it. Let me just do it. Just take it off. But whatever. Like I said, I guess it's just his style. Nothing I've never seen before, but still not my thing. And I like in this moment, she's in, or excuse me, I feel like in this moment, that she's in her head too much and it's spilling out, because she's asking Mecca if he feels like they have a lot of work to do or if they're on a good track. And I'm like, well, for one, we're on day 2 of the marriage, girl. Okay, hun, let's start there. So you just got into it. And second, no doubt when it comes to marriage, you're gonna have to do a lot of work, particularly in the beginning, if you ask me, because again, you're trying to, merge two different worlds together. And that's no easy feat. That takes time, all the things. And so I'm just like, if you think this is a glimpse of how it goes, like, ooh, you might be in for a rude awakening. You're going to have to roll your sleeves up and get your hands dirty. Like, it's like that, right? And a lot of people say, oh, well, marriage shouldn't take that much work. Oh, yeah, it does, especially a good one, in my opinion, because you want to keep cultivating it. Now, clearly, there's going to be things that flow naturally. But I personally feel like when they say that first 5 year thing, is a struggle or a challenge in your marriage, I really believe that. I really do. Because, like I said, you're trying to figure things out. Now, eventually, you get into your groove, and maybe you're not going to be the couple who it takes the first 5 years or whatever. But 9 times out of 10, it goes that way. And it's okay. It's supposed to happen that way. But you figure it out, you get it right. You have two willing people. It works. Two people that want each other happy, two people that respect each other, like, and all, like, it works. So, the point is, girl, you got work to do. So I was like, oh Lord. Then she asked him if he plans on leaving her, and she says, if he leaves, she's gonna cry. And I said, oh, wait. Like, what are we doing here? I'm like, girl, what? Beljolie, what? What are you saying? What is coming out of your mouth to this man in this moment, girl? I said, Miss Violent, come have a quick chat with your daughter, please. Or even her friend that was talking to her on the side that seemed like she was a no nonsense friend and tell her the real deal when they was at her wedding. Come have her talk to her for a few minutes. Cause I said, listen, girl, you need to tighten up. Like, do not give him any level of desperation. Not now, not at any point. All right. I mean, or even if you were to give it at some point, right? To me, that's when you're more solidified. You've been dealing with each other for a while. You know what it is. You're tightly connected. Your souls are intertwined. All of that. Then you might be like, "Oh gosh, if you leave me, I cry. Like I need you. I get all that." But day 2, wow. I was like, "Oh no, Belgium, no, honey, no." So that was kind of bothering and perturbing my soul a little bit. But let's move on. So Devin and Caitlin go have dinner. She's looking cute. Nothing crazy to her, but I just like her clean kind of look with her little brown fitted dress and her little braid kind of nestled in her ponytail. Just thought she looked cute and clean. And they catch up briefly on their upbringings, which helped shape the people that they are today. They share how they really like each other and how what they have can be a forever thing or forever thing if they want it to be. Now, mind you, it's Devin who's saying these words out of his mouth. So keep that in mind. Nikki and Shawn are chilling by the pool. And I tell y'all, I promise every time I see their names appear on the screen now, y'all, my nerves get just up in arms. I'm on edge, right? I'm like, oh gosh. But he's complimenting her on how good she looks because she's serving in her pink bikini, okay, at least from the angles that we see. And she says, or he says he's not afraid to take off his shirt and show off his dad bod, which she tells him to do it. She encourages him and he does. And she said she loves his confidence. And I do too in that regard. I will say that. You shouldn't be ashamed. Flex and work with whatever you've been given, okay? And of course, I'm like, but not her on the side saying that she didn't picture being with someone with a dad bod and without the dad part. I said, okay, yeah, wow. Now I know we've seen that already in previews, but this joint hit for me like it's hitting for the first time like I've ever seen it. I was like, that is just crazy, crazy. But anyways, keep in mind, Nikki, though, that that's something that could be worked on, right? Like those are things that can be fixed. You can encourage him to join you in your workout activities because she says she's involved in a lot of things to keep the body tight and right. So just have him join in with you. Okay. It's as simple as that. And when she said every single relationship she's been in, she's ended, I said, oh girl. And I think you about to end this one as well. Okay. Because you almost ended it dead smack at that altar. Don't think we forgotten. That was just the beginning. So I don't know, but your patience is going real well. And we'll get into that. So we'll see. So Shawn needs to continue to dial things all the way back again, in my opinion. I feel like he's still doing way too much too soon. He's asking her questions about how she's grown from past relationships, and she tries to answer his question, and he proceeds in a very rude fashion to tell her, like, pretty much she didn't answer his question. She wasn't being specific enough. And I was like, okay, dude, now that's strike five for you with someone you can't afford not one strike with. Okay. And for the temperature of what the combo should be, isn't this like supposed to be giving more lighthearted, more okay, cool, we're on vacation, the vibes are good, it's not that big of a deal. Like, this is not a homework assignment, we are not preparing for a test. Like, pipe yourself all the way down. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. I feel like that came from left field, but it was just so off-putting, super off-putting to me. And I was like, oh, like, ooh, Sean, I don't like that. Mm-mm. So I was like, okay, again, this is giving us more of a reason to see that after all, it might not be her, right? Because we could have easily concluded, okay, maybe she's a little on the prudish side, or maybe she's gonna give him attitude and this ain't gonna work, but she really is surprising me, and so is he. Like, for them to be on the polar opposite end of what I thought it was going to be. And it's not cool as it relates to Shawn. But shout out to Nikki because she's racking up them points, like I said, for her patience for me. But we'll get into that a little bit more. Nick and Courtney are on the beach being awkward as hell together. And they're trying to figure out things to do and they can't figure it out. And that's not even the problem, right? Sometimes you're gonna be like, okay, well, what do you like to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. You're trying to figure it out, but it's the energy that's just off. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure you guys noticed that too. And I can definitely see where he's just not going to do it for her. He already in that moment, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And I'm sure she just has a certain level of expectation for where she wants her man to meet her. And I don't know if he's got what it takes, y'all. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hop on the dance floor. Let me know if I'm jumping to wild conclusions. I feel like as I continue to watch and saw later on, I may not be, but things can turn around, right? And there's almost a level I feel like of immaturity to him that is not befitting. And like I said, all early assessments, we don't know. These things always just get surprisingly better or surprisingly worse or surprisingly unexpected, like with Nikki and Shawn so far, but we'll just have to wait and see. So Felipe and Tori are catching up again over some good tacos. And apparently, production introduces their scene before we see them eating their tacos like they were getting it in, which we knew that they weren't, but still. So she's sharing her story on being cheated on. And she says that a 24-year-old girl had reached out to her. Long and short, they shared messages. And just the youth of this 24-year-old made her think of the close proximity of how the girl was in relation to her sister. And we know how she feels about her sister, like that is her heart and soul. And she said just seeing some of the messages and how her ex was talking to the girl, just it didn't sit well with her. And again, just she wouldn't want anybody talking to her sister that way. And so she ends up taking the girl out for drinks. I was like, okay, well, that's a boss move. That's interesting. That's different, right? Especially if it's a situation where the young lady didn't know anything about Tori, and I don't think that she did. But Tori said, listen, you can freaking play with someone else, but you won't be playing with me. Because she said, then, however many short hours later, she got herself a U-Haul, packed up her ish, left that key on the table with the girlfriend credit card that she had been using to charge up things prior to, and she was out. And I said, and that's what I'm talking about, my kind of girl. I'm trying to tell y'all, do not sit in these situations that you know you should not be in and put up with no unnecessary nonsense just to say you have somebody. Like, that is ridiculous. Your happiness and your peace should be everything. Okay. I can say that I'm in a happy space and in a great relationship because I knew and had the um wherewithal to just not deal with nonsense prior to. I knew my worth. And if it's going to take a little bit of work for you to figure out your worth, then do that. Do whatever you need to do, but don't sit up in no mess. Okay? Because sitting up in mess and holding on to that just to say you have the years in or whatever, you're missing out on what could really bring you true joy. And I wouldn't have known true joy if I would have stayed in the nonsense that I was in. So don't do it, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So, anyways, Felipe assures her that he will not cheat on her. Again, she's feeling good and secure in that for the moment. So now Belle, Jolie, and Mecca are enjoying a nice boat ride in their matching green. And we know that's something she wanted to do. She wants to match with her partner. She's let us know that in the beginning in her individual sessions, but she also let him know that as they're on their honeymoon, like, let's just, keep together or whatever. And so they do. He obliged to her request. So Belgily is questioning Mecca as to if their friendship process might be outweighing the romance process. And again, I'm like, see, I feel like these questions are just like too soon. Like, who cares? Like, let us allow time for this to blossom. And honestly, you might as well just enjoy the time for what it's worth and just trying to get to know the little things about each other. Because when you hit back and get back into real life in them apartments, that joint is going to be a whole different level of work. So let's just enjoy this while it lasts. Let's save all that hard stuff for later if that's the case. But, anyways, he feels to be early in and have just met each other. And I said exactly, say it again, Mecca, you don't even realize what you said, to have just met each other, that he feels it's inevitable that the friendship aspect is just going to come out so strong. So she's telling him she loves a man who leads and that he basically has the green light to make her switch over to them feeling more like a married couple. So, in other words, do what you got to do. You can hold my hand a little more. You can kiss on me more. You can, love on me, whatever. I'm open to it. And so he's like, yeah, okay. Just as uninterested as the day is long. And I'm like, oh gosh, oh boy. And to me, it was giving there's something on his mind too. And he's just not quite ready for all of what she's saying, but we'll see. So Nick and Courtney are headed to the pool. Y'all, Courtney is off the chain. Anyways, Courtney notices some lady low key trying to record them with her phone. I mean, I don't know if she knew it was married at first sight per se, but the lady was like, "Look, his camera's here. I'm about to get in on some of this action." But anyways, they bust out again with the awkward energy sitting there. But let me tell you though, this is why I chuckle how I love Courtney's side confession when she was like, "It's giving just a little bit boring." I say, "Okay." One of us needs to push the other in the pool because I'm bored. I say, girl, okay, Courtney, tell them how you really feel, Courtney, child. That makes two of us because I'm bored watching y'all. So you feel the vibes yourself. And funny enough, from when we first met Nick at Bachelor Night, I thought he may have had some personality. And maybe that doesn't mean that he doesn't. He still could, but maybe just not with her, or it doesn't shine as bright with her. I don't know, but he just ain't doing it, right? And they grab a drink and catch up. And let me tell you, she's let production know something is missing. And again, I feel like she's spot on with that. When he's asked how the marriage is going, he's like on a whole nother planet, y'all. Because he talk about son, it's going great. She's amazing. I say, well, sir, you're about to find out pretty soon. If you don't step it up, it's not going to be as amazing as you think. And I think Courtney kind of said it best though when she explained to him when they were in the pool that she's always kind of been somewhat, and I think I might have said this word rigid, but just kind of in a routine growing up. And she said her parents didn't make her do it. It was just her own thing that she had with herself. And I think that's what's going to be part of the issue for them, is that he has more of a free flowing kind of free spirited way of doing things, where she's more like, okay, what's the game plan? What are we doing? Why don't you have things organized and in place? Like, I feel like there's no real structure to how he operates, whereas it's like structure is her thing. And so I feel like she's looking for someone who is going to lead. Okay. And you better be a guy with a plan. And I don't know. And so, anyways, Devin and Caitlin are having some water fun. They're eating fruit, catching up again, getting to know each other. She's not that in touch with her emotions, but she loves that he is. And however, Devin says in his side interview that the vibes feel standoffish. And I think he's generally speaking with maybe her overall viewpoint on things, not necessarily how she's acted in that moment, because it looked like they were having a lot of fun. And just them kind of getting into the concept of relationships when they were talking and what they were kind of looking for. And he said his way of feeling loved is to be with a person, whereas if his person's like, leave me alone, then he won't feel like he's getting what he needs. And I said, oh, oh, this is the first dun 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 moment for them. Because I'm sure that's going to rear its ugly head, especially because he's not someone, or she's not someone who's in touch with her emotions, and she's let us know that. And so it's like, if you're somebody who's not in touch with your emotions, you're probably gonna have moments where you're just like, okay, what's the big deal? What are we talking about? Why is he doing the most with his emotions? Okay, I need a moment. I need another moment. Oh gosh, I don't want to be bothered. Then you're gonna create that space and that distance, and that is exactly what he's not looking for. So I'm like, uh-oh. And so Nikki and Shawn. Nikki and Shawn. Okay, y'all, here we go. Okay. So I was rightfully justified to be on edge because he says to her that they were doing, so now they're walking on the beach, right? They're walking on the beach, they're going to kind of sit on a little lounge, whatever. And he says while they were doing their video diary, ish went left. And y'all, immediately, I mean immediately, when he said that, I was thinking, and yeah, I bet it went left because of you. That ain't hard to tell. And boy, if it wasn't. So we get a flashback of the video diary cam. She says waiting a month or 5 weeks to see what friendship could look like before they introduce the sex of it all is reasonable. And he says, "Oh, you already decided?" And she says, "Yeah, I told you yesterday." And he says, "You asked me a question. You didn't tell me you decided." And I'm like, "Okay, Shawn. Okay, okay. But here's my thing. And if she didn't tell you what she had decided, I'm trying to figure out what the big deal would have been and even is now. Like, so what? She has a right. Okay. First of all, let me even rewind. Y'all just met. Let's start there. Furthermore, let me fast forward and bring it back. She is not obligated to tell you her timeline for what she's deciding to do with her body. That's point blank into the. And things like that take time, obviously. And what that man tell you at your wedding, whomever he was, because I don't even know who he was in that moment. I don't even think I paid attention. Was it your uncle, your father, your mentor? No, it wasn't your father. Maybe your mentor, somebody, maybe a good family friend. He told you it's worth the wait. So, what are you missing here? And you should believe it's worth the wait too. And so, I feel like you should even be glad, if we really want to be honest, that she's being decent and polite with you in conversations, considering how things went at that altar. Like the way you should have took that moment at that altar, knowing she wasn't feeling you and ran with it, like, oh, I better be on my P's and Q's. I better not half step or miss a step, or it's gonna be a problem. That's still not clicking for you. Something about your cocky kind of turned on, and I just don't understand it. I'm like, sir, if you don't humble yourself, but oh, I think she's going to do it for you. And so I'm like, this joker got some nerve. He was also trying to dominate the diary cam conversation from what we saw. And I'm like, ill gross, because as well as um just dominating the conversation, gross, it's like he's also speaking to her like they were in an episode of Blue Therapy. Cause he's like, now tell me back what you heard me say to you. And I'm like, I'm sorry, say what? Gross again. Okay. And then his tone was just condescending. I'm like, oh no, sir. Oh no, no. See what I mean? Yep, it's you. It's you, and you some more for sure. I'm over Shawn. Totally. And so when I tell y'all I'm giving her credit, Miss Nikki, that is, from this moment on, because she is handling this the way better than I thought she would or I ever could. So the moment she decides to flip that switch on that, oh, I'm with it. It's game on. I'm game. I'm down. I ain't got nothing to say because he has asked for it up until this point for sure. He keeps asking for it. So when people keep asking you, oh, give the people what they ask for. So now I'm like, sir, now I feel like you're the one to really mess up this good thing you could potentially and possibly have, right? It's still very early. We don't know. And there still might be some other ways that she might rear her head. But as we're seeing now, I'm just like, why set the tone in such a negative way? when you have been given an opportunity to really potentially have a gift for yourself. You know what I'm saying? She's coming across as classy based. She's trying to be open to you. She's easy on the eyes for you. Like, sir, what is not clicking up here? I mean, I just don't understand. But anyways, I just feel like he was really bugging and giving us a glimpse into who he probably really is and why his relationships haven't worked. And I'm like, and on their own mother and honeymoon vacation where you're supposed to be on cloud nine, this dude keeps completely messing up the vibe. So I was over him, y'all. I'm good. So she's now explaining to him, or at least trying to explain to him, how that convo made her feel. And he's cutting her off yet again. But thankfully, she, regains control of the conversation. And in it, she's saying she sees soft and tender sides of him, which is causing her to let her guard down. And I'm like, see, she's trying. And he missing it. Over his head like a 747. But she feels like through the combo, he was handling her feelings in a rough and robotic way. And she feels like he doesn't allow a person to be heard and understood. And I said, I definitely could see that right from that 10-second clip from that diary cam. I see exactly what you're talking about, girl. And the whole issue is how they decide to communicate going forward, right? This is what he's saying. His whole issue is how they communicate going forward. And I said, and Shawn, that's fine. Okay. But you actually just said it best, Mr. Best. It's how you communicate moving forward, not that you communicate. Not that you communicate, but how you communicate. Okay. Delivery is everything. And I'm sure Nikki wouldn't have had a problem with what you had to say, but it was you coming at her like a drill sergeant trying to take over for the 9-5. And DJ, shout out to my 90s, if you know what I know. Trying to take over for the 9-9. Like, whatever. Like, you were doing a lot. And now I'll give him a little side-eyed grace, okay, for the fact that he says they have a different communication style and it takes a while to get in alignment. Because, like I said, marriage and relationships, they take time to figure out, right? Y'all already know that. You're merging two different roles, like I said, in personalities and all of that. It's not an overnight process, but you still got to try to do your best to come correct. And we're going to mess up, but let's not mess up, at the I don't know. Like he just, I feel like he can do better and it's within his control to do better even than what he's doing now. But maybe not, right? If this is truly who he is, then sometimes you can't control how you behave. And sometimes people ain't going to have the patience and the tolerance level to deal with that either, or wait on you to change that if you so desire to change. So I just think it's not looking good for him at all. But he wants to figure out how to best serve her. And I said, I got that answer for you already, Shawn. Again, fall back and be the complete gentleman that we got a glimpse of pre and during the wedding. That's within you, I think. And the gentleman that your parents have raised. And you don't have to do so much because everything will fall naturally into place. Okay. Now, will that happen at the rate things are going? I don't know. But again, we'll see. And I said, uh oh. Uh oh, y'all. Now, this whole Devin and Caitlin situation, this is happening sooner than I thought. The mess is getting started, even if lightly, because the night before they go to sleep and she's talking about setting her alarm. She's going to wake him up so they can get up and go to the gym together. She's adamant about the fact that she want to get him up. Like, even if I got to kick you, push you, smack you in the head, whatever, I'm going to make sure you get up. Okay, well, it's the next morning. He turned to his side. Oh, she gone. Like, she gone. Like, she ain't there gone. Okay. I mean, she ain't there kind of gone. He's, nowhere in sight, not a peep, not a nothing. We see her do her little interview kind of personal diary. Oh, she's off to the gym by herself and ain't missed the beat, like, acting like she wasn't supposed to let her husband know. And I'm like, okay. And so he feels she should have communicated with him because obviously he's feeling a certain way that she didn't want to go to the gym, or at least that she wanted, or she didn't want to go to the gym with him, or that at least she wanted to go alone. And I said, true story, and he says he wants to feel wanted. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Y'all see what I mean? Here we go. Something is simple. And it's not even like I like to say, it's my favorite line that I say all the time, I've said throughout my life. It's not the actual example itself, it's the principle behind it. It's the deep rooted issue underneath it all. So it's not the fact that you went without me, but it's the fact that it makes me feel a certain way because, you know, like that's just not how you do things. You're not being a person of your word. You said you were going to let me know. You were very strong about doing that. I wanted to go with you, and now you kind of upset me because you didn't let me know. And if you wanted to go, all you had to do is communicate that with me. Say, I'm gonna go by myself this time. When I get back, we can do X, Y, to Z together, or let's go another day, or while we're on vacation, I kind of want to do my own thing so I can just regroup and then we get home. Something, but don't just move the way that you are moving. So I can understand why that kind of bothered him a little bit, but still. And so I think but so he says he wants to feel wanted. And I think we'll see this happen a few more times, through just these kind of circumstances where she makes him not feel wanted. And he eventually later on says, because now they're getting together, I'm getting together, they're getting dressed to go see the other couples. He's saying he doesn't want to bring it up to her later on. Um, no, I said that wrong. What did he say, guys? He's saying that he doesn't want to bring it up to her right in that moment. She's kind of getting dressed or whatever. And it's even that I kind of noticed, because he was like, yeah, I don't want her getting mad at me, or I don't want to whatever. And it's like, already you're feeling that on edge about potentially expressing how you feel. That's a problem too. Her reaction, and you could tell that she's just a stoic person, or she's probably not the easiest to talk to once you really know her like that. Again, I could be wrong. And so in that moment, I'm kind of like, no, it's probably good to nip it in the bud. This is something I would say that you want to say right away. You can just monitor and be mindful of how you say it. But then I said, well, to his point too, maybe it's the timing of it all. Timing is everything. They are getting dressed to try to go have a good time. You don't want to put a damper on that time. So, oh, I'm sure he'll bring it up at some point, as he should. Because again, we know if you don't address things, they just grow into a monster of a situation, and then you really have a problem on your hands that you're not going to be able to control. And so again, they all meet up, all the couples, for the first time as husband and wives at a little outdoor social sitch. Courtney and Felipe are talking, and she's definitely feeling his energy. And like she said, she could talk to him all night, and she wishes her husband had that energy. I said, uh-oh. Felipe is having that effect that he said he be having on all the ladies gravitating towards him. I mean, I guess. I said, but sidebar, y'all, why was Felipe so doggone sweaty? I said, he is just sweating profusely and no one else is. What was he doing? Did he bust a couple of moves that the cameras didn't catch? Because I don't understand. Was it that hot? I don't know. But anyway, sweating up a storm. So the ladies and guys are catching up separately about who did the do and who didn't. Adam says to the guys he doesn't kiss and tell. And I said, well, that's okay, Adam, because your wife is over there telling it all for you. And so they're getting, the hypes and whatever and all the feels about that with the girls. And Belle Jolie shares her and Mecca had a moment where they got a little passion. I think she said, I don't know, they were on each other and they fell over something or another. And it's explained that she was kissing his neck and his face, and he did the same to her, and then they started kissing or whatever. And um I feel like you can tell that the physical is probably overtaking him more than anything. Because even from earlier, I think he had made a comment. We get a quick flash of her in her bikini walking around. She was washing something or doing something or another for him. And he was like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to try to control myself or something. So he's definitely into her looks, but it's like, is that just all that meets the eye? Like, what about what's in that mind or what her heart is giving? Like, I don't know. It's just something is missing for him too, it seems, right? It's definitely giving that she's way more into him than he is into her. Um, but based off of what Caitlin's sharing with the ladies, it seems too that Devin is way more into her than she's into him, which again we could already tell. Excuse me. She says she needs her space sometimes, and that's definitely, like I said, going to turn their relationship into a nightmare, because the thing he craves the most is what she seemed like she's not going to have for him. And I think she kind of made that clear and made that known in the previews to come. Was that a little sidebar she was given? I'm not sure, but it would be nice though, and in a perfect world, if they could actually find balance with that. If maybe she spends some quality time with him like he likes, but at the same time he gives her space sometimes, but to me she gives off the impression that she's going to want her space more than she's willing to compromise and scaling it back. We'll see. And now we got Shawn. So Shawn gets to talking, y'all. I'm like, here we go. He explains what transpired and how he has no issue with how Nikki feels waiting to the end of the experiment to be intimate. He just wants to be included in on the decisions. And I get where he was coming from. When he was explaining this, he was explaining it much better. I wish he would have presented in that fashion that he did to the guys, this, in the same manner with Nikki, which he didn't. But okay, can't take that back. Um, and I still say though, again, to my point, his execution, like when addressing her, was just all wrong. And he needs to really be mindful of that moving forward. But a lot tells me he's not going to be. But to the ladies, Nikki is sharing how he's influencing her in some positive ways and how he told her he wants to be her soft spot to land, or her soft place to land. And the girls are just, oh, and then, oh. And then I said, okay, y'all, y'all ain't seen the half of it, but y'all about to find out. Um, so Courtney shares, for lack of better words, how she's not feeling Nick. And based on other couples, Nick feels he and Courtney are in the middle of the pack. And I said, I'm Nick. What pack? Like, you guys are actually in last place. You are not at the middle of the pack. You are at the very end of the pack. But you'll find that out soon, I'm sure of it. But y'all, not Courtney walking off with Caitlyn to have more of a secret chat about Nick, I presume and I believe. And Nick apparently appearing out of nowhere, sliding right next to Courtney and connecting to her like a magnet, y'all. It was kind of one of them things where you'll be over here, you're like, get it in here. Oh, where'd you come from? The way he just appeared, I'm like, sir, give her 50 feet. Like, she walked away from where you were. Like, let her do her thing. That's another thing I believe too. Now, I'm all about PDA and, being next to my man, all that. But I also believe in space when we're at things and events. So I don't need to be up under my husband and latching onto him 24/7. And if he goes off to talk to somebody, I don't need to follow him to go talk to them too, or see what they're talking about. Like, give me some space. And so I was just cracking up because I said, again, uh, Courtney's just tallying up them points like, yep, nope, 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 nope. And he's following me. Yep, nope, nope, nope. And she didn't say that, but I'm saying that for her. I said, oh, yeah, these folks are doomed, y'all. So at any rate, y'all, I've said a lot. And there was even a whole lot more in between that. So another episode, I'm telling you, Married at First Sight is hitting it. Even if you're just like, this is a mess, it's still giving us something to talk about. So I would encourage you again to go back and watch the episode if you haven't, so you can catch some other things. The music is on, the dance floor is lit. Don't be no prude and hold up the wall. And I know y'all ain't shy because y'all showed me that already. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys. Let me know what you think about this episode. What do you think Mecca's vibes are towards Belle right now? Like, I feel like he is just, I don't think he's feeling it for real, y'all. I hope that he'll put the work in and he'll get out of his mind and give her a chance. But listen, I've always been raised and been taught that the man should be into you more than you should be into him. Okay. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I am smitten when it comes to my husband. And I was smitten early, but I feel like he was putting that work in and he was more into me. I was very much interested. Don't get me wrong. But I know that feeling and I know what people mean when they say that. Kind of like how Devin is with Caitlyn, but I feel like Caitlyn's gonna mess up that opportunity. I feel like he's given exactly the energy that it should be given. Maybe he could dial in and scale it back a little bit. I think maybe he's someone who feels very intensely and quickly. Like, don't scare her with it, but continue to be attentive to her and the way that you are. But it's like she is cold as ice. So I don't know, y'all. A whole lot going on. What do y'all think about this Nikki and Shawn of it all? Y'all, I'm about through with Shawn. When I tell you, I'm ready to package his old bean pie head up somewhere and send him somewhere. Like, I am just, he's getting on my last nerve. Okay, he really is. It is so crazy because I was rooting for him at first. I was scared for him coming into this thing, and now he's been showing his whole natural behind. So y'all let me know what you think. If he about to mess up that good thing, like for real, then he gonna want that old thing back. Oh my gosh. But anyways, y'all, I hope this video found y'all in good spirits. And if not, I hope I said a little something to put a smile on your face. I appreciate y'all so much again for your support and your love. And I just enjoy coming to be able to relay my thoughts to y'all and then seeing what y'all are going to say back. So just Have a great day, y'all. I'm sending y'all all social hugs, all 507 and 9 or whatever of you guys. Thank you so much. I will be back soon enough to do it again because they dropped two more, right? They dropped what, three at a time? And so I have to go watch the second and take my notes as I watch. I'm going to try to do it today. I don't know, but I'll get it all up somehow throughout the course of this weekend, you guys. As I shared with y'all before, this weekend is my wedding anniversary, so I'm starting my celebrations tonight, and I'm just excited about it. Okay, so I'll be a little busy, but I'm gonna try to do what I can for sure. All right, so y'all just have a little patience with me, but until then, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.